Okay, today we are going to discuss the concept of process and operating system. The objective of this lesson is to explain the process concept and identify various components of a process. Moreover, we will also discuss the states of a process. We will discuss the scheduler and scheduling queues in operating system. And finally, we will explain the context switch. Operating system executes number of programs, and these programs run as processes. Process जो है, it is an instance of a program in execution. Program जो होता है, that is a passive entity. By itself, a program is not a process. Like program जो है, it is the contents of a file stored on a disk. You have created a program and you have compiled it, and the executable file, it is placed on the disk. It is stored on the hard disk drive. So this is a passive entity. However, when this program is being executed, then we call it process, and process is an active entity. By we mean that a process has associated program counter register. This program counter register mentions the next instruction of the process that will be executed, as well as a process has different resources allocated to it. Like it has memory, main memory allocated to this process, where this process is being this process is stored, as well as this process might have some files, uh, and moreover, this process might access different IO devices during its execution. So process has associated program counter register value, as well as it has certain resources. That's why we call that process is active entity, whereas program is a passive entity, because program does nothing while it is being stored on the disk. These are just set of instructions that you have placed on the disk. So we can execute a program either by using mouse clicks or through graphical user interface, as we usually do in the Windows environment. That when we double click on a file, we can start executing that file. And another option is that in CLI based systems, command line interface shells, we can start executing a program by giving it a respective command. So these are the different means by which we can start executing a program. This is how a user starts a program, either using GUI or command line interface, whereas some programs are started by the operating system. These programs are started when the system boots up. And we have already discussed in the last lecture that these programs these processes are known as the daemons process, or in Windows environment, these are called servers or subsystem processes. These processes are automatically started by the operating system when we boot up the system. A program can have several processes. For example, when a user execute multiple instances of the same program, like you have opened two different instances of the text editor or notepad. In this case, we are having two different processes. Though the instruction set of the both processes is same, however, the data that will be different in these two processes. So a user might have different instances of the same program, and these processes will be treated as different processes. How a process is represented in the memory. A process address space is the snapshot of the image of the process in the main memory. A process has different components. It has text section, program counter, it has stack, it has data section and heap. The text section portion of the process contains the program instructions. This is your these are your machine instructions from the executable file that you have already generated. So this section is known as the text section, and this section contains the machine instructions of your program. Program counter is a register that holds the address of the next instruction of your program that will be executed by the processor. So it represents the next instruction that the processor will execute from your program. Stack area जो है, this contains the temporary data. It contains the parameters for the functions, for the procedures, for methods, as well as it contains the return addresses that after when control will be returned from that method or procedure, where it will be returned in the main program. As well as stack contains the local variables that belong to a particular method or procedure. Stack is allocated at the higher end of the memory. As you can see that memory, the snapshot of the memory image goes from 0 up to the maximum memory addresses, and stack is allocated at the other end of the memory, which is the highest address of the address space of the process. And stack grows downward. The next section of the process is data section. Data section contains the global variables and static variables which have been initialized before the main method of your program. Like if you have written a C program and before main method you have defined global variables and static variables and you have initialized them, these variables will be stored in the data section. The next is the heap section. Heap is the memory that is dynamically allocated to your program. Like C in the we have the option that we can dynamically allocate memory to the objects. So heap will contain the those data that data of your program that is dynamically allocated and initialized. Heap जो है, it can also grow in the direction of the stack. So these arrow points, that stack as well as heap जो है, both can grow to the free area of the memory. Remember, if both stack and heap boundary crosses each other, then there will be a stack overflow. And similarly, in case of heap, when heap crosses the stack boundary, then your program will not be able to allocate any more memory dynamically. According to the processor utilization, that how microprocessor is being utilized, processes can be classified either as CPU bound processes or IO bound processes. CPU bound processes are those processes which spend more time doing computations. And CPU bound processes spend less time using IO devices. And another characteristic of CPU bound processes is that these have very long CPU bursts. Usually the scientific and engineering applications, these applications are CPU bound processes because these applications heavily involve computations and they do less IO. User interaction is very limited. Once you have started the application, there will be the minimum user interaction with the application. Most of the time, application will be doing computation. Another example of CPU bound processes, a video encoder that encodes your videos in different formats. This is also calculation intensive application, computation intensive application. The second class of the processes is IO bound process. IO bound processes are those processes which spend more time doing IO computation and they do less number of computations. Most of the time in these processes are spent on the IO devices. So these processes are marked with many short CPU cycles. Word processors and text editors are the examples of IO-bound processes. So these applications like Microsoft Word or the Notepad, these applications spend more time doing IO because user is continuously interacting with these applications. So they are dealing most of the time with the either with the keyboard or with the display devices. In operating system, each process is identified by a unique process ID. This is an integer value that is used to identify a process known as PID or process identifier. So operating system, whenever a process will be created, operating system will assign it a unique ID. Either the process has been started by the user or it has been started by the operating system itself. In both cases, a process ID will be assigned to the process. अगर आप टास्क मैनेजर ओपन करें और उसमें आप प्रोसेसेस टैब के ऊपर जाएं तो आप वहां पे देख सकते हैं कि एवरी प्रोसेस हैज अ प्रोसेस आईडी. Okay, let me share with you the task manager. Okay, are you able to view task manager in your windows?
नो
आ
सर,
रहा है आप
स्क्रीन
लोगों को?
शेयर हो रही. सर स्क्रीन शेयर नहीं हो रही.
Okay,
Screen share नहीं हो.
is it visible now?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you see every process has a process ID. This PID field, this is the process ID field. Operating system assigns every process a unique ID by which we can identify that process. So like this PowerPoint application has been assigned this process ID 8320. So every process, either it is a user process, it is an operating system process, it will be assigned unique ID. Processes जो हैं, these are operating system maintains a process table, and this process table contains entries to the PCB, process control block. This table is indexed with respect to the process ID. So process ID is an index to a process table entry, and process table entry जो है, it refers to the process control block. We will discuss in a short while that what is a process control block. Process control block जो है, it is a large data structure that contains all the information about the process. So every process has a process control block. This is a data structure that is used to store the process related information. In Linux environment, it defines a task structure. Task structure is defines the process control block. So this is the name of the process control block in the Linux environment, task structure. And this is a C structure that is defined in the Linux source code directory under the schedule.h header file. Similarly, in Windows environment, Win32 API defines the E process, which is the name of the process control block for Windows processes. So what is there inside the process control block? Each process has certain information associated with it that defines the process control block. Sometimes this is also called task control block. Like in Linux environment, the terminology task is used instead of process. So their PCB is called task control block in Linux environment. So process control block stores the information about the process state, that in which state currently process is in. Either it is in running state or the process is in waiting state. So a process might be in different states at any given time. Sorry, a process might be in a particular state at any given time. And this field identifies that at that time in which state the process is. The second piece of information that process control block will store is the value of the program counter. As I have described earlier, that program counter is a register that stores the address of the next instruction that the processor will execute from your program. Moreover, process control block different CPU registers values, like general purpose registers. I hope you have studied these registers in computer organization course. तो जितने भी general purpose registers हैं, index registers हैं, stack pointer हैं, all these registers values as well as flags register values, these are stored in this area of the process control block, which is called CPU registers. Another section of the PCB is CPU scheduling information. This section contains about the information about the priority of the process, that whether it is a high priority process or a low priority process. Moreover, it includes pointers to different scheduling queues. Then there is a memory management information section in the PCB. This section contains the memory related information about the process, that which page tables have entry for this process, which memory areas have been allocated to this process, and so on. Accounting information section. This section holds the information about for accounting purpose, like that how much CPU time this process has used, when this process started, and so on. The next section is the IO status information. This section contains information about the IO devices that has been allocated to this process, as well as any list of open files that this process is that are being used by this process. This figure shows the Linux process tree. The first process in the Linux is system D. D stands at the end of this D. At the end of this name system, there is a word D. This letter D points out that this is a system process. This is not a user process, and this process has the ID 1. And this process further has three branches: login, a daemon, which has process ID 8415, and the Python, which has process ID 2808, and secure shell daemon, which has process ID 3028. Login daemon and secure shell daemon, these are the system processes which operating system has started, whereas Python is the user process that a particular user has started on the system. Under login, there is a bash environment. Bash is the command line interface for the Linux operating system, and bash has further two branches, ps and vim. These are two user processes that are being run in the bash environment. So from this Linux process tree, you can see that every process has a unique ID, and few processes have been started by the user, while other processes have been started by the system itself. And operating system has a tree-like representation for the processes. This tree-like representation gives us the idea that which process has started which other process. Like here, we can get the idea that parent process of the Vim is bash, whereas parent of the bash is login and parent of the login is systemd. Or we can say that grandchildren of the login is Vim or PS. Okay, these are the few fields from the task structure. As I have told you earlier that in Linux environment, a process control block is defined using a structure, and the name of that structure is task structure. And few fields in that task structure include process ID, which is the identifier for that process, long state. This variable will store the state of the process, that either it is in the running state or in waiting state. Then there is unsigned integer time slice. It represents the duration of the time slice for this process. Then there is structure, task structure parent. This field holds the address of this of the parent process for this particular process. And there is the structure list head children. It contains the process's children information, and so on. So every process in the Linux environment has a task structure. As you can see in the figure underneath, that there are three task structure blocks have been shown. These are the PCBs in the Linux environment for a particular process. And there is a pointer current which points out that currently this particular process is under execution. And these PCBs are linked to each other using a doubly linked list, that every PCB points to the every next PCB.